This is QTV's news desk. Glad you could join us once again. The headlines. Transport Minister Brian Mushimba has disclosed that 613 vehicles were impounded in 2017 for having illegal number plates. The Civil Society Constitution Agenda, CISCA, says Zambia risks losing the trust and confidence of the international community if government's inaction against corruption continues. Lands Minister Jean Kapata says 300,000 certificates of titles to properties on state land will be issued this year. Here now is a full detail of the news. Transport and Communications Minister Brian Mushimba has disclosed that 613 vehicles were impounded in 2017 for having illegal number plates. And Mr. Mushimba has told Parliament in response to a question asked by Monza Central Member of Parliament Jack Mwimbu that number plates such as ECL 2021, Commando 1 and number 1 bootlicker are illegal. Mr. Mushimba, however, states that the number plate ECL 2021 qualifies to be registered upon payment of about 8,000 kwacha to the Road Transport and Safety Agency by those interested in patenting the number plate. He says the practice of illegal number plates compromises security, and he says the Road Transport and Safety Agency is conducting random checks to curb the practice of illegal number plates. Mr. Mushimba adds that as a way of curbing the practice, RATSA will also introduce electronic number plates. The minister states that RATSA has the full mandate to address the practice of using illegal number plates of vehicles. The Civil Society Constitution Agenda, CISCA, has charged that Zambia risks losing the trust and confidence of the international community if government's inaction on corruption and money laundering activities continues. CISCA chairperson Bishop John Mambo tells QTV News that his organization is concerned with how government is treating some of these important matters that can affect national development if left unchecked. Bishop Mambo says some of the allegations of corruption and money laundering, if now well followed up, have the potential to make the international community lose trust and confidence in the government. The CISCA chairperson has also advised President Edgar Lungu to leave the doors to State House wide open for advice from various stakeholders. Bishop Mambo has accused presidential aides of blocking people who may want to engage the head of state on national matters, saying this is hampering on national development. Bishop Mambo says President Lungu should emulate his predecessors who kept the doors to State House open for dialogue and other engagements. The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources will this year produce and issue 300,000 certificates of title to properties on state land in selected cities and towns. Lands Minister Jean Kapata has disclosed. Speaking during the launch of the National Titling Center in the Lusaka Showgrounds, Ms. Kapata said the annual target and performance of the title deeds to be produced and issued will be adjusted upwards annually based on the experiences in 2018. She has explained that the Titling Center will operate as a processing center where large volumes of land data from the field will be brought in, analyzed and processed into certificates of title using automated workflow processes. Ms. Kapata has, however, stated that members of the public, do not need to follow up regarding their land titles at the center, as once the certificates are processed, they will be handed over to councils where they can be collected by the owners. She has since urged those that have been assigned to work at the center to be dedicated, reminding them that the titling program is a serious national program that requires full commitment. Ms. Kapata has also directed the Ministry of Lands Permanent Secretary and the Commissioner of Lands to provide effective supervision and oversight in order for the program to be a success.
The National Titling Program, which started as a pilot in 2017, has now been rolled out countrywide and is being implemented in a phased manner with specific annual targets from 2018 to 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2018, the target is to produce and issue 300,000 certificates of title in selected cities and towns to properties on state land. Going forward, I have directed my team to annually adjust our targets and performance upwards based on experiences gained in 2018. The opening up and the official launch of this center have therefore come at the right time when the ministry has put in place the environment that is favorable to the implementation of a mass tackling exercise such as this. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important to mention and stress that this National Tackling Center shall operate as a processing center where large volumes of data from the field shall be brought in, analyzed, and finally processed into certificates of title using automated workflow processes that have been developed to enhance the program.
The Zambia Association of Manufacturers, ZAM, is saddened that by the indiscriminate export of non-ferrous scrap abroad and to neighboring countries, which it says is having serious detrimental effects on the local foundries industry. The association says this is regrettably creating an untenable situation where the local foundries must compete with foreign firms and or individuals to access basic raw materials which are necessary for production. ZAM Chief Executive Officer Chipego Zulu says the unscrupulous export of this scrap metal, which is the raw material alloy used for over 90% of the billets and castings required for the manufacture of spares, is fast reaching the point whereby foundries will soon be forced to produce using virgin materials. Ms. Zulu states that this will substantially increase the price of local manufactured spare parts to a point where it will be more economical for the mines and other consumers to import, raising Zambia's import bill and skewing the trade balance further in favor of imported goods. She says this is indirect contravention with the Proudly Zambian Think First campaign, as well as the policy direction reiterated by the government towards accelerating industrialization in Zambia, as espoused in the National Industrial Policy, Local Content Strategy, 7th National Development Plan, and ultimately Zambia's Vision 2030. Inspector General of Police Kakoma Kanganja says police officers have been stationed in all the 8 constituencies in Lusaka ahead of the mayoral by-election slated for July 26, 2018. Mr. Kanganja has told QTV News in an interview that the officers will help in providing security during the by-election. He has warned that police will not tolerate any violence during the campaign period and on the poll day. Mr. Kanganja has since advised political parties sympathizers to stay away from violence. Meanwhile, Mr. Kanganja has condemned some political parties inciting political violence.
I would first begin by condemning all those who are inciting violence. There is no need to incite violence. As police, we are ready to police the elections. I've positioned officers in all the 8 constituencies, and they are ready and are equal to the task. They will deal with all those trying to push forward the evil actions.
Secretary to the Cabinet, Dr. Roland Mushika, says the human resource management reforms, which are meant to decentralize some aspects of human resource management to government ministries and other public officers, will improve and strengthen the management of human resources at various levels in a devolved governance system. Speaking when he opened the meeting of the Decentralization Policy Implementation Committee, DPIC in Lusaka, Dr. Mushika noted that challenges will always be there in every reform process, but that it is important to strive to attain the set goals even in the very difficult circumstances. He states that according to Cabinet Office Circular number 10 of 2014, under Phase 3 functions, being the last phase, some of the duties were earmarked to be devolved to councils by the 31st of December 2017. He says this should alert all senior officials to the fact that on paper they are at a very advanced stage of the devolution process in view of the circular. Dr. Mushika says what is important is for all stakeholders in the implementation process to move along with the projections of the circular by carrying out their various activities in their institutions. Speaking at the same event, Deputy Secretary to Cabinet in charge of administration, Patrick Kangwa, said the meeting has been organized to receive reports from the technical working groups that include legal reforms, planning and budgeting, institutional capacity development and sector devolution working groups. Government has been called upon to consider exempting farmers who contributed to the 400 kwacha requirement towards e-voucher system and did not redeem their farming inputs from paying another 400 kwacha in the coming farming season. UPND chairperson for Rural Reconstruction and Development, Mono Mapani, says it would be daylight robbery if the government goes ahead and asks farmers who never redeemed their inputs in the previous season due to the failure by the state to manage the system well. Mr. Mapani tells QTV News that the government should exempt these farmers and allow them to redeem inputs without contributing anything. And Mr. Mapani has called on the government to quickly make its position known to the maize floor price so that farmers can look for market elsewhere. Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Christopher Yaloma, says government will continue implementing measures aimed at promoting value addition and improving the competitiveness of the country so that local industry can take full advantage of the market access provided through the tripartite free trade area. Speaking during a sensitization meeting on the tripartite free trade area in Lusaka, Mr. Yaloma says Zambia continues to work towards meeting the April 2019 deadline for ratifying the TFTA agreement as directed during the 7th meeting of the tripartite sectoral ministerial committee held on 8th June 2018 in South Africa. He says in terms of tariff negotiations, Zambia submitted her offer to the tripartite task force based on the COMESA and SADC acquis. Mr. Yaloma has further disclosed that in terms of progress, 3 years after the launch of the TFTA, all annexes to the TFTA agreement have been agreed, subjected to legal scrubbing and adopted by the ministerial committee. He states that so far about 3,267 tariff lines representing 60.6% have now been agreed out of a total of 5,387 tariff lines. The minister says the two-day meeting
I am delighted, ladies and gentlemen, to indicate that in terms of tariff negotiations, Zambia submitted our offer to the tripartite task force based on the COMESA and SADC acquis. However, this does not apply to countries that are not implementing any free trade area. These include Angola, Democratic Republic of Congo, Eritrea, and Ethiopia. For the aforementioned countries, Zambia will have bilateral tariff negotiations. In this regard, Zambia wrote to the concerned countries to request for engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, in terms of progress, 3 years after the launch of the tripartite free trade area, all the annexes to the TFTA agreement have been agreed, subjected to legal scrubbing, and adopted by the ministerial committee. Consequently, ongoing negotiations on the rules of origin are in effect taking place within the provision of the transition arrangements. Their outcomes shall therefore automatically be part of the already agreed Annex 4 of Rules of Origin. I am delighted to say that so far about 3,267 tariff lines, representing 60.6%, have now been agreed out of 5,387 tariff lines.
The University of Zambia and the Zambia Police Service have signed a memorandum of understanding to train police officers in various programs. The MOU will enable police officers to explore various collaborative initiatives for the growth and mutual benefit of the two institutions, boost provision of higher education through research, training, and technological development in areas of security management. UNZA Deputy Vice Chancellor Professor Enala Tembo says the program will produce competent and innovative officers from the pool of staff of the Zambia Police, which will include certificate, diploma, bachelor's and master's programs. Speaking during the signing of the MOU, Professor Tembo noted the need to have a well-trained workforce, stating that this can be achieved through capacity building of the officers as a way of enhancing professionalism and contributing to human capital development in the country. Professor Tembo has reiterated that the university is keen to partner with the public institutions to enhance knowledge, skills and institutional development.
Under this MOU, which we are signing today, the university will be launching training programs for staff in the Zambia Police Service and other security sectors. It is envisaged that the programs will produce competent and innovative officers from the pool of staff of the Zambia Police Service. We are confident as a university that through our increasing collaboration with our partners, we will continue to nurture high-class professional graduates who can bring about the much-needed transformation in our country. I'm quite confident that as we design the various programs, both partners will remember that we need to integrate academic excellence with other aspects of law enforcement, especially professionalism, protection of human rights, integrity, moral uprightness, and spiritual upliftment.
Speaking at the same event, Inspector General of Police Kakoma Kanganja hailed the Memorandum of Understanding as a milestone in promoting technical cooperation between the School of Humanities and Social Sciences to the Department of Social Work and Sociology and the Zambia Police Service. Mr. Kanganja says the MOU has come at a time when the Zambia Police is working towards repositioning itself to be more responsive to security needs of today and ensure the provision of quality service to the people.
You may wish to know that the Zambia Police Service was recently admitted into the membership of the International Police Academy, INTERPA, at the 7th INTERPA conference held in Doha, Qatar in April 2018. I believe this collaboration with UNZA will further enhance our standing as a member of INTERPA. This is because the aim of INTERPA is to establish a common platform for police training institutions to boost the efficiency and effectiveness of police education and training at the global level. Thus, collaboration with UNZA and the Zambia Police Service will definitely enhance capacity of training and increase of our policing standards in line with international laws and human rights requirements through the world. In conclusion, on behalf of the Zambia Police Service, and indeed on my own behalf, I wish to assure you of our commitment to this agreement. Let the signing of this MOU be the first step in what I'm sure will be a long and fruitful cooperation between our two institutions.
Tourism and Arts Minister Charles Banda says he intends to study the 50% partnership offer by Mushingashi Game Farm to the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, DNPW. Mr. Banda says he wants to have a good understanding of the partnership. Speaking during a meeting at his office with representatives of the DNPW, Mr. Banda said government's position is to set up wildlife conservation through partnerships. Mr. Banda says government wants this to be done with other stakeholders who bring on board capacity knowledge, skill and technical know-how.
Yes, true partnership is key. You have used the right word, partnership with the stakeholders. That is the way for us. And we have been working in some areas. I'll give an example, like African parks that are working in Liua National Park. They are working in Bambweulu wetlands. They're doing a very good job apparently. You can see by the number of animals that you find there that something is going on. There is some conservation there is some protection there, and so forth and so on. And it's helping us actually to grow the numbers of wildlife, but at the same time reduce poaching.
And Chairman of Tudo Investment Corporation, Paul Jones, who is owner of Mushingashi Game Farm, has assured the minister that the partnership will come with great benefits to the entire Kafue ecosystem. He says once concluded, the partnership will be the signature of Zambia's tourism and the restart of game ranching in the country.
We talked about a public-private partnership between Zambia and Mushingashi, which is the game ranch that I own, and I think this would be a fantastic benefit for the entire ecosystem around Kafue National Park. I was extraordinarily pleased to see how realistic he was and practical he was about understanding the issues and dealing with them in a way that I think will benefit the people of Zambia first and the overall environment and ecosystem around Kafue National Park.
Meanwhile, former Secretary to the Cabinet Evans Chibiliti, who is a partner in the initiative, says partnership will assure government of continuous revenue in an equal share basis.
Yeah, okay. That's one leg of the partnership. Another part of the partnership is that going forward, we would assure government of continuous revenue, all right, from whatever the proceeds are, all right,
From shooting, trophy fees,
from whatever activities we undertake there. 50% would go to government, and 50% we would retain for continue. So those are the legs of the partnership. The third leg is we would bear all the costs for management of this area. Yes.
According to Mushingashi prospectus, the project is expected to see the procurement of vehicles, heavy equipment, road, power lines, fencing and other construction projects that are expected to generate value-added tax contribution of over $1 million within 2018. The Third Liberation Movement is demanding for an update on the deportation of Chinese nationals who recently shot and wounded a 16-year-old boy of Chambishi on the Copper Belt. Party President Enoch Tonga has challenged the relevant security wings to come out in the open and update the nation on the progress made in the deportation process. Mr. Tonga has questioned the Zambia police's sudden silence on the matter. He has told AQ News that tyrant foreign investors are a danger to the Zambian society and must be forced to return to their home countries.
In this case, they are shooting this young boy who is 16 years old, meaning that they have destroyed his life. His original life now is affected. The way he was yesterday, it's not the same way he is today. Now, our demand is that these Chinese must be deported immediately. We are on record asking the government to do so, and they've not done that. Our question is, where are we as a country? How far have we gone? Is this person out of the Republic of Zambia? Have they been deported? If not, the question is, what are they doing in this nation? We don't need them here. They are criminals. Don't protect criminals in the name of investment. No. So what all we wanted, they must act, chase them out of this country. They must go and start shooting their own relatives in China, not here in Zambia. Zambia belongs to Zambians, and peace people are supposed to be in Zambia, not criminals. Once again, we demand that the government give us an update. Where are these criminals who are shooting people in the Republic of Zambia? If they are here, what are they doing? Who is protecting them? Or else we're going deeper into it, and we shall investigate as a political party because we want to see to it that Zambians are protected. That's our position.
Operation Young Vote, OIV, has expressed concern that some campaign messages coming from candidates contesting the mayoral and council chairperson are exaggerated and lack merit as they are not attainable. OIV Executive Director Ges Nyirenda says while it delights its organization that some messages and campaign promises by some candidates are real and attainable on one hand, they are concerned that some messages and campaign promises are mere rhetoric and only meant to hoodwink the unsuspecting voters. Mr. Nyirenda states that signing a social contract with the residents of Lusaka as a sign of commitment to the pledges made is feasible, welcome, and should be supported. He says his message to the candidates is that they must be real and pledge what is achievable, adding that Zambians should not be reminded of failed campaign pledges. Government has reaffirmed its commitment to supporting all public training institutions under the Ministry of Agriculture. Agriculture Minister Michael Katambo says the human resource these training institutions produce is an important prerequisite for the agriculture sector. Mr. Katambo says government is therefore commending colleges such as the Natural Resources Development College, NRDC, that are training students to meet the demand of the agriculture sector. The minister said this when he officiated at the 46th NRDC graduation ceremony, where 550 students graduated with diplomas in various training programs. More in this report.
Agriculture still remains the Zambian government's priority sector. This sector is in fact at the center stage of the country's 7th National Development Plan. This is the plan which government wants to use in creating a diversified and resilient Zambian economy. It is no wonder the Ministry of Agriculture places prime importance in supporting training institutions that fall under the agriculture sector. A graduation ceremony such as this one, where 550 students have today graduated in various programs at the NRDC, is exactly what government would like to see. Agriculture Minister Michael Katambo, who graced this graduation ceremony, emphasizes why government is keen at supporting such training institutions.
The Ministry of Agriculture will continue to offer support to training institutions under it, as human resource is a very important requisite for the agriculture sector. Agriculture is at the center stage of the 7th National Development Plan, and therefore we commend the college the training qualified staff to meet the demands of the agriculture sector.
The NRDC, being a public institution, runs its courses in association with the University of Zambia, UNZA. And UNZA Vice Chancellor Luke Mumba had to be there at the ceremony to demonstrate the strong ties the university has with the college.
The University of Zambia will continue to support the college in meeting its obligations. Madam Principal, the professionals we qualify through the diploma program are strategic to the expansion of Zambia's agricultural sector.
While the NRDC is capable of graduating up to 550 students every year, such an accomplishment is not without challenges. College Principal Alice Tembo took the opportunity at this graduation ceremony to highlight some of the challenges her institution faces.
Inadequate transport for both utility and student use. 5, lack of a health facility on campus. The institution is in journey of major recapitalization to rehabilitate and construct various infrastructure.
Government will then do well to address these challenges if NRDC is to increase its output. Lazarus Sichula, QTV News, Lusaka.
Chief Chimbuka of the Bema-speaking people of Chinsali district has come to the defense of Zambia Consolidated Copper Mines Investment Holding ZCCM-IH Chief Executive Officer Dr. Pius Kasolo, who is being accused of being a foreigner by some people. Chief Chimbuka has told Q News in an interview that claims that Dr. Kasolo is a foreigner should not be taken serious. He says he is shocked to hear some people going to the extent of calling on the Zambia police, the Immigration Department and other investigative wings to investigate Dr. Kasolo. Chief Chimbuka has since threatened to take legal action against those accusing Dr. Kasolo of being a foreigner. He says Dr. Kasolo is very much Zambian from Chief Muwanga's chiefdom in Mpika district of Muchinga province.
I'm very shocked. We are kwa Pius Kasolo. Yeah, kuti Koromwalilando, kuti Pius is not a Zambian. He didn't to a Womba Pela a Zambian. That person is a South African. My father, myself, Busuma wafiele native Chimbuka. Wafiele ewali enduma yakwana Kasolo. Ewa tataba Kasolo okuleba masingi bapere ngamwalubi. Abapere papa pangolele. Anthony Kasolo uyu PS wa kuchipata uyu Pius Shula Maria Kasolo bonse bali bankashoka ulumuntu nomba omulwendo atwe kwa afusha information ata apologize ngataya itwalidira talamu twa koti ine wine ero ine ndewulera ndabana chief chewe ndi mfumu ngachali bamayo abafi bamasemi banti abafi Kasolo is a foreigner is wrong. Bantu foi into adi ndoko shoko in foreigner batatanga chali baufweli ashindi bafu amanga akonde labakwete nabakula. But me, I taking this opportunity alone to see what's going on, because when in Zambia not got a problem with muntu ngaleta progress balaba barefointu balati is a foreigner, is a foreigner, is a foreigner, is a foreigner.
That's what we packaged for you in our news this time. But of course, before I take a run, here is a real look at the headlines. Transport Minister Brian Mushimba has disclosed that 613 vehicles were impounded in 2017 for having illegal number plates. The Civil Society Constitution Agenda, CISCA, says Zambia risks losing the trust and confidence of the international community if government's inaction against corruption continues. Lands Minister Jean Kapata says 300,000 certificates of title to properties on state land will be issued this year. That's a wrap for the news. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Continue watching QTV.